Hi fans of high quality entertainment, welcome to the top 10 classic rock albums from 1967, and as always, please remember these are just my top 10 favorites. I'm not saying they're the best. And I'm still, once in a blue moon, getting a rude, ignorant comment like this one. And I just want to, very nicely say, I'm not going to put up with it. If you're going to be like this, I'm just going to block you. This is a friendly channel. I don't go to other channels and leave rude, ignorant comments. And so, I just want a little bit of respect. You don't have to agree with my top 10. I don't care. But just, tell me your favorites, your top 10 favorites. I'm not wrong. I'm not right. So before I get into my top 10, and this one's difficult, this Saturday I'm interviewing Just JP. I think he changed his channel name to JJP recently. So, but it's Just JP. He does a lot of album and song reactions. One of my favorite channels, and so I'll be posting that sometime this weekend. And right now he's reacting to the Velvet Underground's White Light, White Heat album and Yes's Tornado album, or Tornado. And in the past, he's done all of the songs on Sparks' Kimono My House, and he liked them. So, really excited to interview him, or chat with him, not really an interview. And on Rich Strickler's channel, as always, later today, I'll have the link below in my community. We're doing our regular CD exchange, and this week I've been listening to Wobbler's Hinterland. It's a prog rock band I'd never heard of before, so I'll be giving my review of that album today. And Rich Strickler, I gave him Introducing Sparks, so I have no idea what he's going to think of it, but hopefully it's a decent review. So, 1967, there were a lot of great albums. And some of the great albums that didn't make my top 10 favorite list, Love Forever Changes, Jimi Hendrix Axis Bold as Love, Something Else by the Kinks, The Moody Blues Days of Future Past, Jefferson Airplane Surrealistic Pillow, and also After Bathing at Baxter's, The Byrds Younger Than Yesterday, The Who Sell Out, Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, Absolutely Free, Traffic with Mr. Fantasy, I think that was their debut album. Sometimes I screw up, and that's okay. And if you just leave a comment to correct an error of mine, that's okay. But if that's the only thing, see, I'm getting riled up again. No, but I make mistakes. I'm human. But if you only comment to correct me and you leave nothing else about the video, then it's also rude. The Rolling Stones, Between the Buttons. The Beach Boys, Smiley Smile. Procol Harum's debut album. The Bee Gees First, their debut album. Canned Heat, their debut album. And the Monkees, Headquarters. So I've got my 10 here, and now I have to put them in order from 1 to 10. So I might be a few minutes. I'll edit this though. And when I get to a certain album, I need to explain something too, so people don't complain as much. So number 10, I never heard this album in the 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s. I've only heard it in the last few years, and of course I'm a big fan of this artist. It is Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band. Yeah, and his Magic Band, and then later on he changed it to the Magic Band. Safe as Milk. Of course, John Lennon was a fan of this album, and I believe Paul McCartney was too. Love it. Number 9. the Rolling Stones, their Satanic Majesties request. I might have said Majesties wrong. I apologize. Somebody will correct me. Of course, it originally had like the very cool 3D cover. The only thing about this, I mean, I'd say 80% of it is excellent. She's a Rainbow, Sing This All Together, In Another Land, 2,000 Light Years from Home, probably my favorite Rolling Stones song, one of my favorites. Yeah, Sing This All Together, See What Happens is a bit of filler, I feel, but overall, a very underrated album. Number 8. And this actually, in the last few months, has gone up. It wouldn't have been in my top 10 a year ago. But I'm starting to really, really appreciate it a lot more. And it is The Doors' Strange Days. A great follow-up to their debut. And I love that album cover, of course. Now, this is the album that is going to not please everybody that it's so low on the list. But you have to remember, I'm old. In 1967, I was 9 years old. So in the 60s, you know, I was just a kid. And there's certain albums that I listened to a lot more in the 60s and 70s. And there's certain albums that, or artists, that I just didn't get into as much. Not that I didn't appreciate them or, you know, love the albums. And so, I present to you the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced? I love the album, but it's just, you know, lower in my top 10. But Purple Haze is awesome, Manic Depression, and I think this is the US version, of course. My favorite Jimi Hendrix song, Are You Experienced? The Wind Cries Mary, Foxy Lady, just excellent. And this is why number 6 is above number 7, and so some people aren't going to be happy with that, but this is more of a favorite of mine because of this, you know, growing up with this band. The Monkees, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones Limited. Yeah, what a strong album. Salesman, She Hangs Out, Love Is Only Sleeping, Cuddly Toy, Words, Daily, Nightly, Star Collector, possibly one of my favorite Monkees songs. So yeah, and yes, they do play on this album. I think on this album there are more studio musicians compared to Headquarters, but still, they're all 4 talented people. Number 5, probably my least favorite of their 4 albums with Lou Reed, but still an incredible first album. The Velvet Underground and Nico, and this is the 45th anniversary edition. I'm a huge Lou Reed fan too. Sunday Morning, I'm Waiting for the Man, Femme Fatale, Venus and Furs, Altimore's Parties, Heroin. Yeah, I love even European Sun and the Black Angel's Death Song. I really enjoy. But there's so many good albums for 67. It's number 5. Number 4. Don't know if you've heard of this band before. It's Pink Floyd with The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. My favorite song on this would probably be Lucifer, Sam, and Bike, but I love the whole album. Number 3, one of the greatest debut albums ever, The Doors. They were one of the most, with Jim Morrison, they were, I think, one of the most consistent bands for their studio albums. Even, I know that The Soft Parade isn't as loved by some Doors fans as the other albums, but I love it. So The Doors at number 3. Now, before I go to number 2, number 1 is, of course, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's no big surprise. But what is number 2? Well, it was only an album here in Canada and the United States. It wasn't in the UK until later on when they officially made it part of the Beatles discography for albums, not EPs. I know this was just an EP in the UK. But we remember it. Us Beatles fans remember it as a real album. And now it is. So number 2, Magical Mystery Tour. And that is it. Believe me, I'm really looking forward to your comments below. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.